Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a battlefield that we have not seen on this channel in a while. So for that reason, go ahead, grab yourself some popcorn as we watch these redcoats with the scarlet of a ladybug charging across this battlefield. They're more commonly known as lobsterbacks, but here we go. Some rocket fire coming in immediately into the battle. You can see that a couple casualties taken already from the British side, and you guys can tell by the flags who is opposing them. The Americans stand ready to receive the redcoats charging up the hill. If you guys are looking forward to this battle and would like to see more like it in the future, of course, let me know in the comment section down below, guys. Hit that like and sub button. And we are watching the British charge up this hill. This is the first of two parts to this video. There's two waves to this British assault, so make sure you guys stick around for the second part, as the first wave is charging forward to soften up the American defense. This wave is by no means strong enough to take this fort in total, but they will do their darndest to soften up these Americans. Because here we go, the first lines are pushing forward. We're going to follow this unit of line infantry in as they're charging straight ahead into some light infantry and some, what do we got over here? Some long riflemen that are sitting here waiting to receive them. So here we go, pushing up the hill, getting a nice slow charge as more rocket fire comes in here, doing more damage to the British. And let's see if the light infantry can get one more shot off here. A couple of them do get some shots off, and yes, a point blank volley straight into the face of this British line infantry as they now engage in heavy melee across the front. We're seeing line infantry against light infantry. We have some long riflemen set up in the center that are receiving more line infantry. And yeah, so as the long riflemen pull out their swords and engage in melee, on the far left we're seeing some Royal Welsh Fusiliers attack some long riflemen that are set up waiting for them, some more line infantry and Royal Welsh Fusiliers as well. And on the far left flank we have some line infantry set up here facing off against some grenadiers, some, what do we got? Ooh, what is this green unit? The King's Royal Regiment of New York, and some line infantry as well. So this left flank is definitely outnumbered here. You can see that the line infantry is fighting for their lives already, but up on the wall they do have some friendly support here. Line infantry lining the walls, waiting to receive the enemies. I believe that there is a special unit up on the wall here somewhere. Yeah, you can see that they do have a lot of units for this first wave. Where is it at? Ah, well, I can't find them, but oh wait, no, this is, no, there's a cool regiment in here. Anyways, the fighting is continuing here, and the long riflemen have decided to push out the flanks and engage in a little bit more point blank shooting here. So pushing out the flanks and engaging in combat is what they are doing. Just kind of getting some soft side fire here, and you can see that the casualties are already starting to surpass a decent number for the British from this flanking. And you can see every single time you hear some shots, more and more British soldiers do fall victim to this flanking fire from those long rifles. So an excellent flanking shot here, probably going to be saving this flank for sure, because if you look, the reinforcements go very, very deep. And all that's standing in the way is this one unit of American light infantry. So while this flank is going decently, we're seeing more rocket fire coming over the top as we have a unit of line infantry charging forward. Whoa. What are you going after? Oh, these poor units that are running away. Two of them got sniped all the way back here. Oh, those poor soldiers. But these units do need to change the direction that they're facing here pretty soon, because these line infantry will be in range here relatively soon. If they do not change which way they are looking, they are going to get flanking fired. So they're going to need to change the way that they are facing to match this unit of long rifles here relatively quickly. But as I say that, you see that the British are starting to surround the fort a little bit. We do have the general's bodyguard running way out here to the back of the fort, and we do have some light infantry now surrounding this American light infantry unit that is holding the left flank. So a decent amount of fighting going on here. Yeah, so this fight is going very well for the British. They are almost completely securing the American left flank here as some reinforcements are coming in now, and the first wave is going pretty decently. They did end up turning their flank here to face this British line infantry unit, and ooh, a lethal volley there. An absolutely lethal volley as the walls are still being held by the Americans. The long rifles still doing a great job at holding down the fort up front here, which is all that we can really ask of them. I mean, they're doing a great job at supporting fire for that light infantry unit. And you can see just how many casualties they have inflicted on the enemy. Look at the amount of dead redcoats over here. More and more Americans are struggling, though. You can see that quite a few of these line infantry are starting to topple over here. The number's down to 30 men fighting left. So this right flank for the Americans is holding, but the left one has crumbled. We're seeing that the long riflemen and the light infantry of this left flank have crumbled and toppled over. We're seeing that the Black Watch's Scottish unit is chasing after them with their bayonets out and now turning their focus onto this unit of long riflemen that had been shooting them in the back for so long. But now we're seeing that the King's Royal Regiment is joining in some light infantry and scaling the walls. The harpoons are being tossed up, and the Americans are going to have to prepare for the light infantry to start to scale. But an excellent volley cutting down their numbers by probably 5 or 6 men. There's 7 men. So a decent little volley there. And here we go. The Americans are now going to receive the British, who have climbed over the top of the walls. And here it goes. The melee fight has begun. The first wave reaching the walls as the front line is all but shattered. We have a couple units of long riflemen still alive here, still helping put some fire down on this left flank. And by the looks of it, guys, the Americans might hold the left flank. Wouldn't that just be a thing? Sorry, had to take a drink of water there. But yeah, an excellent fight going on here on the left flank, which the Americans do end up winning. So the left flank being a massive victory, and now these long rifles are going to need to turn their attention to help out their other long rifleman unit here, as more rocket fire now streaming across the battlefield as the British first wave is all but repelled. We're seeing that the King's Royal Regiment of New York is making their way up the walls, but it is not going to be enough. They're going to need their second wave here, but let's see how many casualties these guys can inflict, because at this point any casualty to the Americans is one less troop the next wave is going to have to deal with. So here we go. The King's Royal Regiment is already wavering as they are now just falling straight into the American bayonets and now broken. That is all she wrote for the first half of this battle, guys. So make sure you guys stick around here, because the second half of the battle will have the British charging forth again. So I will see you guys in the second half here in just a second. The second wave has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing that the line infantry has already started their charge across the open field here. And you guys hear that? Do you hear it? Do you guys hear it? Because I hear it. I'm just kidding, I don't hear anything. But what I do hear is rockets about to go streaming through the air. The Scarlet going straight into the British lines, and you can see a couple units getting toppled over here, 6 of them to be exact. Rockets already starting to suppress the enemy as they charge forward. Cannons firing from the front, and the Americans taking a decent amount of casualties. Have only 4 units on the wall and 3 units out front. But I can tell you that these long rifles will do everything in their power to continue to hold out. In an excellent volley. Oh my goodness. A devastating volley going into this British line infantry unit, losing 51 men. Wow. 51 in a volley. That is disgusting. Cannon fire still coming down into these men as they continue to charge forward here. They know that they need to crest this hill very, very quickly if they want any chance of winning this. The Americans deciding to make a little bit of a U-shape around the gate here to protect the gate, but let's see if it pays off for them as more and more fire continues here. It's going to be a tough one. It's definitely going to be a tough one. Rocket fire now, some excellent rocket fire just hitting those British straight in the face. There are a couple more units falling victim to it. But yeah, here we go. The charge is complete. The British have made it to the American front lines, and now the Americans up on the wall are going to have to stand firm. And here it is, that cool unit I was talking about, the 2nd of New York, fighting up here with their cool looking hats. But the British now, without that extra units out front, are able to push around the flanks very easily, but cannon and musket fire are meeting them every step of the way. You see musket fire smoke just lighting up the battlefield, a couple cannon shots going into the redcoats there, and you're seeing that more and more men are falling by the second. The British need to get this push going because this unit's already down to 138 men and dwindling by the second as they continue to push forward. More and more Americans continue to pour rounds down on them, now down to 134 men, now down to 133. Every second they take is another man lost. But now the British are climbing up the walls to face off against the American line infantry that holds here. Rocket fire now going down on the enemies, and you can see that a couple of them do die from that rocket fire. So it's some excellent shots there, and the Americans out front are not really doing any better at the moment, as the long rifles now are facing this direction up here to attack those grenadiers. But over in the middle, the Americans are struggling. The long rifles are, you can see here, it is completely in shambles. There's no front line because the British are just too many. You can see that this long rifle has already broken because there's just too many British. The Americans up on the walls are doing everything they can to help out. I mean, you can see it here, putting down as much fire as possible, but it's just not enough. And the British now firing by rank in return are doing excellent to start to suppress those walls in order to get some harpoons thrown up to the top to climb the walls and try to take the walls from the Americans. Back on the left where they are already trying, or back on the right where they are already trying to scale the walls, the Americans are putting up one hell of a defense over here. You can see that it is not really going too good for the British at all. More rocket fire coming in as well. And you can see that the pile of bodies are starting to pile up here for the British, as the Americans are doing a great job at holding them at this front line. Now, I will say that the British are starting, you can see here, the this is Royal Welsh Fusiliers along with some Grenadiers are making their way around the backside of the wall, and there is nothing guarding this side of the wall. So if they do make it up here, it is going to be devastating for the Americans. But the British over here are already starting to waver a little bit because of the American presence here. We have a lot of line infantry and 2nd New York waiting for them, waiting to just receive them as soon as they get off of that rope and climbing up. And another unit of line infantry is charging forward as well. Up front, we still have this first unit of Americans just demolishing any unit that runs up front. This Grenadier unit is just getting slaughtered as they're trying to get across the battlefield here, down to 62 men, and it gets lower every single volley the Americans put towards them. Now rocket fire goes streaming over at some retreating units there. But I mean, it's tough. It's very, very tough for the British. They're doing their best, and look at this. They're even starting to push over to the front units. We have a British Grenadier unit pushing over to this American line infantry unit, and now up front is just this last unit of line infantry that is still putting down fire on a couple units of Grenadiers. Now the British general, you can see, did take a couple casualties from some cannons there, down to 21 men, and if the Americans were able to kill the general, that would be massive turning point in this battle as more and more British continue piling over this side. You see that the Americans are having to spread out because there's so many British just pouring in everywhere. It is just, I don't know if the Americans are going to be able to win this one. Although they are piling up the British bodies here, there's just so many, and there's still more units sitting outside, still just shooting up into the walls here, trying to take out as much line infantry as possible. But the British on the right flank have been repelled, and ladies and gentlemen, it is looking more and more likely by the second now that the Americans are going to win this one. Rocket fire now coming down, trying to take out the general. The general is now down to 13, 12, 10 men, and the general dies. The general goes down, and he is taking off out of the battlefield, down to only 10 men is gone. And without their general now, the redcoats are starting to lose faith, but they will continue to push forward, as now we are starting to see that some Grenadiers are moving around the backside of the fort to try to climb up and help fight over here. But all of the British forces have been forced off of the wall. Oh no, that is horrible for the British. The Americans doing everything in their power to continue to hold here, and holding they are doing. Now going to put down some fire on these British down below. That put a volley into the front, a nice cannon shot going in there. But the British firing by rank take out a couple more Americans here, and here comes another rank of fire, taking out yet another American. So this line infantry going to need to return fire here fairly soon if they want to continue to win this one. The grenadiers that climb up here do start to waver as well. And over here we are starting to see the same thing. All of the infantry getting pushed off of the walls. The Americans hold the walls, but the second win from the British is here. We do have some more line infantry that was originally retreating, pushing back, and that is 115 more men pushing up as well. The Americans now putting more and more cannon shots down into this British line infantry that is firing by rank up into the walls. We'll see if we get a fire by rank here. No fire by rank. Oh, there it is. Fire by rank now going off into the American walls, trying to take out a couple of those units that are firing down on them. But the Americans are still holding firm. And we are also starting to see that some units doing the same out here. Grenadiers now firing up onto the Americans. You see that the Americans are holding firm though, and are very well dug in. But now the British, with their lower numbers, are taking a little bit of a different tactic here, trying to pick off a couple of the units up on the walls before they decide to do anything, and they are getting a couple kills, but in doing so are opening themselves up to, well, you guessed it, I mean, you can already hear it, musket and cannon fire from the walls. So not really the best strategy here. Who is this rocket shooting at? It's just shooting. The rocket's just shooting to shoot. But guys, my favorite part of the battle is yet to come. So we're going to fast forward just a little bit here so I can show you guys the ending of this battle, because the ending of this battle is my favorite part, and you can already start to see it. The Americans are moving off the walls. They have the gusto now. They have the willpower. They have everything in the bag. They know that they have this entire battle won, and in doing so are now pushing off of the walls. And you guys might be wondering, where are they going to? Where could they possibly be going to? They are forming up in front of the gates, ladies and gentlemen. The Americans, knowing that they have won this battle, are now going to sally out to the British. And once they form ranks here, you will see it happen. 2 units of line infantry form ranks, and ladies and gentlemen, here they go. You will see it in a second. And now the Americans start to push out against what little British forces remain. And we can see it in just a second here. The gate opens up and the Americans come pouring out absolutely beautifully, charging across the battlefield now. Oh my goodness. This is just beautiful. It's just poetic. It really is just poetic. The Americans charging out of the fort, or not, the generals charging out into the British. Oh, a devastating cavalry charge. The general throwing the British down that hill with a downhill charge. And with that, guys, the Americans win this battle. If you guys did enjoy this one and would like to see more like it in the future, of course, let me know in the comment section, guys. Hit that like and sub button, and of course, I will see you all next time. Peace.